Because at first you don't succeed. What's happening? What's happening? I know, who was that? Was that Marcia? I don't know. Was that Marcia that told me to stop doing this while I was driving? I don't know. I think it was. But I had to, what's up, Father Legend? Hey, if you can hear me, put a one in the chat if you can hear me. Yo, I jumped on real quick because I just dropped the boys off. When I was sitting there with Chris, waiting for the time for him to get in, I had an idea. So I was like, let me go ahead and jump on live right now because y'all know I'm gonna forget. You know what I'm saying? Because it was it was just a quick thought that I had. Now, the quick thought that I had was is being brought to you by the old man bladder, right? The old man bladder is what helped me get this together because, y'all know I get up with the old man bladder sometimes. So it was after 4 today when I got up with the old man bladder. You know what I'm saying? It was after 4. And so when I got up, I said, let me check the charts to see, you know what I'm saying, what's going on. See if it's doing anything or if it's just chilling, right? It was kind of chilling, right? But when I sat down in front of the charts, it looked, I was, I kind of looked at the charts and now on my, on my 15-minute chart, it looked like a perfect opportunity to go long. Looked like it had just got to a spot to go long, right? And no. When I sat down, it was opened up on the 1-minute chart. It was opened up on the 1-minute chart. So on the 1-minute chart, it had like this move that had went up, a move that had shot up. It had shot up, right? Just had took off like to the upside, and then it went up and made like an equal high, like 2 or 3 candles before it, and then started coming back down. And when it was coming down, it kind of consolidated a little bit, and then it broke under that consolidation and started to drop off heavy, right? So looking at the 1-minute chart, it looked like it was about to set up for a short, right? It was about to set up for a short. And so I'm sleepy. I'm sitting there. I ain't even did my due diligence to look at what was going on, right? So I'm sitting there. I'm like, let me wait a few minutes to see if it gives me my setup, right? Now, my setup requires it to take out liquidity, right? And then come back down and create that breaker, leaving a fair value gap, right? That requires my setup, right? Now, what I learned, what I noticed today, what just clicked in my mind today, right? While I was looking at this is where I was going wrong with the ICT concepts, right? Was because I was looking at my fair value gap setup everywhere, right? I was looking for the gap everywhere. If it looked like it was about to give me my fair value gap entry, I'm backing up in the driveway, y'all. I gotta think now. I don't want to hit my house, right? If I was looking for my fair value gap setup entry everywhere, right? And that the thing that made me that changed everything about ICT concepts, right, was the fact that I learned through testing, back testing, and journals, right? You wait for liquidity without rate, and I people who already know it's gonna be elementary. They gonna my thought. some secret out for the rate on liquidity, right? Your setup is not gonna be your setup 9 times out of 10. 9 times out of 10, your setup is not going to be if you don't wait on that raid on liquidity, right? Because in the old man bladder, this deal was brought to you by the old man bladder because when I today when I oh, I'm gonna keep that light up. Make sure I keep this turned this way cause I woke up late. I fell back asleep and I ain't made up my bed. Cause my son was like, "Dad, you sleeping?" And I was like, "Oh man!" And I jumped out the bed and brushed my teeth. It just left. I ain't making my bed, so I got to keep this turned this way so y'all don't see my sloppy bed. But anyway, so what happened was it looked like it was setting up for a short. Now, this is where I got saved because I have my rule in place where it has to do a certain thing before I act. Alexa, turn studio light on. It has to do a certain thing before I act, right? And since it did not give me, right, it did not go up and take out the liquidity on, now mind you, I'm looking at the 1 minute. It did not go up and take out the liquidity, right, on the 1 minute and then come down and give me the breaker, right? I didn't take a trade. It kept dropping. Now it set up a fair value gap, right? It set up a fair value gap, and I think I could sit this down and y'all, because I need both hands. I think I can sit this down and y'all can still hear me. Uh, I'll prop this right here. Prop this right there. Right? Can y'all still hear me? If y'all can still, because I got my Bluetooth in. If y'all can still hear me, somebody put a one in the chat for me if y'all can still hear me while I clip this up here. And try not to step on it in my clogs. Not my claw, I said claw, my Crocs. Cause these Crocs, boy, they the toes on them big. I done snatched this thing down so many times fooling around with these Crocs. Okay, I see the one. Okay, so since it didn't get like on the 1 minute, it didn't give me it didn't go up and take out the liquidity on the 1 minute, right? And so it was coming back down. It went to a fair value gap. You know what I'm saying? And so I didn't take it. I didn't take it when it went back to the fair value gap. I didn't take it on the 1 minute because it didn't give me my breaker on the 1 minute, right? Now, since it did give me my breaker on the 1 minute, I you know what I'm saying, I started, I'm waking up by now. I'm paying attention. So I started zooming out. I started zooming out. When I started zooming out, I noticed that on the it was either 15 minute or the 5 minute, right? It was either 15 minute or the 5 minute. It had not taken out the buy side liquidity. It had just taken out it had just it had taken out sell side, right? No, it had taken out whatever it was. It was ready to go long, right? So it had taken out sell side. It had went up, right? Had a break in market structure and was coming back down to a higher time frame breaker and fair value gap, right? But on the 1 minute, now if I didn't have my rules in place that says I got to wait for that breaker, right? I got to wait for that breaker, then the old me would have taken that short off of that fair value gap that it had went back up to, and then was trying to short down where I was shorting into the place where I should have been going long. You know what I'm saying? So that's why that's the thing that I figured out when I learned that about ICT concepts of just being patient, waiting on the liquidity run, right? Waiting on the liquidity run and then looking for my setup, right? So if you haven't got the liquidity run and the liquidity run that I be needing, right? I prefer it to run out either a 15-minute or an hour. If it run out a 15-minute or an hour like liquidity, I'm 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 more than good with like jumping in. If it's running out a 15-minute or an hourly swing high or swing low, right? If it's running out like a 1 minute, I'm kind of skeptical about it. You know what I'm saying? Unless that 1 minute line up with like a 5 minute. If that 1 minute line up with a 5 minute, you know what I'm saying? I'll you know what I'm saying? I'll take it. I'll nibble. If that 1 minute lining up with a 5 minute, then it set up after that, I'll nibble. But that was the thing that I figured out. That changed everything for ICT concepts with me. Waiting and to being patient enough to wait until it runs that liquidity on at least the 15 minute, like preferably the hour, but waiting for it to run that liquidity, and then looking for my setup. Cause before, like I say, like today, it would give me a fair value gap. You know what I'm saying? But making and I was saying that to say this, waiting on that breaker helped me. Waiting on that breaker helped me. Happened to me yesterday. Waiting on that breaker helped me, like unknowingly. It helped me get to where I needed to be. It helped me, you know what I'm saying? It like waiting on that breaker helped me get to the point of waiting for the market to run the liquidity. You know what I'm saying? Waiting on that breaker helped me. And then once I start to understand the concepts move and search my journal, and you know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, this I learned this. Thought was just thought I was waiting to make her, but actually I was waiting for a breaker, but I actually like accidentally made myself have to sit there and wait. The sound went out. I'm breaking up. Okay. My AirPods be acting crazy. Am I still breaking? Am I still breaking up? My AirPods be acting mad crazy. Hold on. I'm gonna go ahead and am I still breaking up? If I'm still breaking up, I'm just gonna start the other live right now. Hold on. I'm good now. I'm not breaking up no more. Okay, I'm good now. Okay. So what I was saying was by implementing waiting on that breaker into my strategy, I unknowingly see this AirPod don't stay in. I unknowingly was forcing myself to wait on the run on liquidity. You know what I'm saying? And then once I start to understand the concepts a little bit better, when I was like, oh, so I was just forcing myself to wait on the run on liquidity. And this is the most important part. Like I thought I was just waiting on a breaker, but by waiting on the breaker, I was learning the most important part. And this AirPod is about to drop is getting on my nerve. So I'm about to start the live right now, and I'm gonna finish this conversation uh, on the live on the other live because this AirPod is about to check. This AirPod is about to fall out my ear, and it drives me crazy because it don't be steady. Mic check, mic check, mic check. Yeah, that one going. Yeah, man. So I'm gonna finish. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. But I'm gonna finish it over there, and I might open up the chart to show exactly what I'm talking about. Check, 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 check. Look at Marcia. Look at Marcia up in there. Look at Marcia up in there. All right, y'all go to the other live. Go to the overnight price action live. I just started it up. Go to the who that just pulled up. Yeah, son, you go to the overnight price action live. I just started up the overnight price. I'm gonna leave that there for just a second. It might go crazy. I don't know. All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. If you are on this live right here, go to the overnight price action live. The overnight price action live is live right now. Go over there to the overnight price action live. And yes, overnight price action live, we are early. It's brought to you by the old man bladder. So go to the overnight price action live. Go.